Live from HMD Studio, it is Stay Busy with Armand Sadler. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Stay Busy with Armand Sadler, where we have responsible discussions on the music business and the music culture. I am your host, Armand Sadler, a.k.a. Vegan Chorizo Papi, a.k.a. founder of Bald Nigga Ballers, a.k.a. Himmy Neutron, Himmy Turner, that guy. Feeling real great. Not here alone, here with my co-host, the incredible man himself. How you feeling, brother?
What's up, y'all? How you feeling? It's Nick Early, executive producer and co-host and Stay Busy. I'm feeling hydrated, melanated, and I'm feeling great today, man. I'm excited to do this with some. We said this is a Potter's pod today.
Yes, sir.
This is a pod for the Potters. If you podding, this is for you. You know, okay? So I'm excited, y'all. Go ahead and introduce our guest, bro.
Of course. So we are here for Busy Black Business Month, as you know. So feel free to DM or email us any black businesses that you want to highlight, whether it's yours or one that you love. We want to give a big shout out to Nadir Simmons, founder and CEO of The Gumbo, for joining us last week. Incredible episode talking about women and archiving our history and the intersection between hip-hop, black history, and womanhood. Go back, listen to that. Tell a friend about The Gumbo. Busy Sessions episode 3 with Jacques Lane is available visually on YouTube and audio on all streaming platforms, so make sure that you tap into that. The man blazed the mic on 2 separate occasions for 2 performances, so tap into that. Of course, we want to shout out our VP of everything, Kieran Hurley, HMD Studio, Camden holding it down. We got a full room here. Shout out to all of our guests joining us. We got a very special guest here who we will be introducing to you all next month for Stay Busy Women's History Month, Bad and Busy. And of course, our listeners tapping back in for season 3. But to get to the reason why this is a Potter's pod, we finally got them here, y'all. You know, their schedules are a little crazy. You know, they a little Hollywood now, big time and all that. But
come on.
We got them here. So one of our 2 guests is a fellow Neo stan, a fellow morning gym grinder, the owner of Purpose Sea Moss Gel, and my VP of marketing for Bald Nigga Ballers.
You ain't telling me you get a new job, man.
See, I ain't gonna hold you. Like you inspire me. Like
You
I
feel
want
me?
to take my shit
You
off, but
should.
my hairline ain't all the way there
You
right
should.
now.
You
So,
should.
I'm gonna just hold it down. I'll be the VP. I like being the VP. But we here, man. Thank you for having us.
Oh, I'm not done. I'm not done.
All
I'm not
right.
done. See, Potters just be jumping right into it.
Yeah.
No, I want to say, if you have ever wondered what shooting your shot can do for you, look no further than this man. One tweet 5 years ago led him to set aside journalism and intern with the long-running #1 podcast, the Joe Budden Podcast, and he put his homie on as well, our second guest. Now, this man has one of the best beards in the media game. He is your source for all new music every single Friday, a music producer who recently got his first placements, and he might as well have copyrighted the champagne clink emoji, because all over social media, you will see him toasting up to his success. Now, in addition to their tenures with the JBP, they forged their own path in the media game as 2/3 of the Need to Know podcast, which they're now one half of, 4 co-hosts. Together, these two have built something of large magnitude, offering perspectives on pop culture and entertainment, but also politics, mental health, interpersonal relationships, career growth, and more. These are people that I'm honored to consider my friends, my brothers, 2 inspirations to me, and unwavering supporters of Stay Busy. From the Need to Know podcast, we got SaVon and Alex. Welcome, brothers. Welcome.
Can you tell he's a journalist, yo?
I'm a little bit overwhelmed with all of that love. You know, men can't take compliments.
Alex,
Thank you. I'm trying to be like you. That's all it is. That's what we do. We don't say thank you. We say I'm trying to be like you.
That's what we do.
Can we restart our podcast?
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Like I think we just gotta like clip everything we've ever done and just restart with this format. Thank
sir.
y'all.
Like
That
he's
was dope.
better than the guy that commentates on the boxing matches.
Yeah.
You know that guy?
What's dog's name? I forgot his
Oh
name.
my
I'm
god, that
honored.
was amazing, bro.
Bill, something. I forgot.
Yeah,
That was dope, bro.
He
Thank you.
ain't me. It don't matter.
I appreciate
Nah,
that.
thank you, brother.
The love.
Yeah,
I really
man.
do. That was
Means
dope.
a lot, yeah. And we've been honestly wanting to come out here. You know, our schedules are so crazy. So happy we got the time to finally arrange this.
Yeah, man.
sir. Yeah.
Long time coming. Long time coming. So thank y'all for being here. We have a great show planned for you all. Before we get into the chat, you know we got to drop some whether you like. So whether you like Cater to You or Halo, Marinara or Alfredo,
Okay.
Nonfiction or Fables,
Okay.
and going with the flow or establishing labels. So let's start. Cater to You or Halo, Beyonce classics. What are we rocking with, fellas?
You gonna go first?
I'm gonna go first. I'll go first on this one because I feel like Cater to You is the easy answer.
Yeah.
But if you kind of know me a little bit and in Armand too, I'm gonna throw this on you too, brother.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Because it's something about that song structure of Halo
yeah.
that is a little bit reminiscent of our guy Neo.
Neo,
Yep.
precisely.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Halo on that one.
Yeah.
But Cater to You is a classic. Ladies, please cater to your man. When I get a girl, I need her to be playing that opposed to Halo.
Right.
That was really nice, bro. That he does sound similar to Neo in that. I'm gonna go Cater to You though, only because a lot of y'all need to run that back, man.
We're losing recipes.
You feel what I'm saying? Nick Armand, I think a couple of them need to check the lyrics.
Check the lyrics.
You know what I'm saying? I know it's been a while since the Queen Beyonce released that song. I think they forgot, you know, the words on that particular
Forgot
anthem.
the prescriptions, right?
Forgot the prescriptions. It's okay. I get new glasses all the time. So I'm gonna go Cater to You because I do love love for love. You know, taking care of your spouse. I'm gonna go with that one. Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. There's a line that sticks out to me in Cater to You when she's talking about putting a do-rag on her nigga.
Yes.
And I ain't got no hair.
Yeah,
I can't relate to that.
I ain't feel that one.
Moisturize the scalp though.
Yeah, nah.
I'm not doing
Just leave that alone. Nah, I'm cool. So just because of that one line, I cannot pick Cater to You.
I feel that.
Man.
That's funny.
How about you, Nick? Cater to You, Halo.
For me, it's Halo, bro. It was always. I love Cater to You. It's an amazing record, but it was always Halo for me. That's actually Ryan Tedder wrote that joint.
Oh, okay.
Shout out to him.
So Ryan Tedder, genius dude. He just sold his catalog. But anyways,
I heard.
like 200 M's.
Rich.
If you're gonna sell it, that's how you're gonna do it, right?
Right. If Halo's in the catalog, obviously. But no, I love that record. I love the way it feels. It's a huge record. You know, it builds really nice. The pen is crazy on it. So I just really love that record.
Yeah. I'm a Halo guy as well. I feel like that's men's favorite song from Beyonce. Jenny,
And Me,
right?
Myself, and I.
Me, myself, and I too.
Because we selfish.
Yeah.
That's up there.
Yeah,
close.
I'm also a 1+1 guy, but I think Halo is.
Ooh, 1
Yeah.
+ 1.
Yeah.
What's the other one she got?
I don't know much about algebra, but I know.
But I know.
1 = 2. Real quick, marinara or Alfredo? What's your pasta preference?
Definitely marinara.
Okay.
I'm not a white sauce guy,
Oh, for real?
and not because of the pretenses.
Yeah, I was
Not even that. It's just I don't know. White sauce always feels a bit heavier.
That's racist.
It is.
As opposed
That gotta be
It's
racist.
Black History
That's
Month.
funny as hell.
That gotta be racist.
Black History
Month.
Now, that's funny as hell. Because why still go? All right, that's not what I meant, guys. I mean, marinara just feels a little bit lighter. I
feel
can
you.
eat more marinara as opposed to
Right.
white sauce. I'm gonna go marinara. Yeah.
What
SaVon.
kind of pasta?
Yeah.
What kind of pasta, though, with the marinara?
Ooh.
Because, listen, we get into
Mozzarella
it.
sticks.
Mozzarella
Mozzarella sticks.
I said, what kind of pasta?
What pasta? Mozzarella.
Mozzarella sticks on the
Mozzarella
on the
sticks?
marrow.
Okay, man.
You said pasta.
Yeah, but I don't.
He's like, I don't do
Yeah.
that.
Nah.
It's all good.
I like the fettuccine, which is weird.
Nice.
What's the bow tie ones?
Bow tie, yeah.
Yeah, I fuck with those.
Bow ties
Yeah,
are,
those
yeah,
two.
yeah.
Could do it.
Yeah, he's a pasta whore, by the way.
Okay.
I'm
supposed to tell nobody.
Yeah, he's a pasta whore, bro.
Really?
Like,
Nah, I would really look like one of them ball playing niggas if I stopped eating it.
Yeah, he's a pasta whore.
It's okay.
I know, that's all right.
SaVon, marinara, Alfredo.
I'm gonna go marinara.
Definitely for this one.
Alfredo reminds me of the days where me and my family were broke as fuck. And all we had to eat was Alfredo for a year.
Wow.
And yeah. So
Yeah.
Alfredo sauce, I'm cool.
You're good.
Got
My
enough of
sister, real quick story. My
Yeah.
sister, when she first started cooking, that was her go-to dish.
Ah.
It's
right?
a lot of people's
because
go-to
that's what
dish.
we ate. So she was
Yeah.
like, yo,
Yeah.
I'm going to finesse the Alfredo, this and that. She thought she was serving us up. I got a big family. And it was like a year where I just had to sit her down. And I said, baby girl, like,
sat her
that shit
down.
is ass. I can't eat that.
Oh,
Not that you make it ass,
It's just,
but it triggers my trauma of being broken.
She didn't know you had every single variation of it already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not many variations you can go.
It's not
It's
much.
shrimp, chicken, and it's fettuccine
It's all about the
or
meat that
linguine.
you put in it.
Exactly.
Yeah, nah,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go marinara.
It's
Okay.
kind of limiting, but
Nick?
you know what's funny? I don't have the connection to Alfredo that you do. But I like Alfredo. I appreciate it, but there's nothing better than tomato sauce to me. Like it's just like tomato sauce is just so on point, and like it's very flexible. You can do a lot with it. So I'm gonna go with marinara on this one too.
I'm an Alfredo guy myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stand
Simple
10
as that.
toes in it.
You feel me? Yeah.
I ain't mad at it.
That's
We
solid.
ride solo here. Real quick, nonfiction or fables for our literature people. Nonfiction or fables. Nonfiction or fables.
I'm gonna go probably nonfiction.
Okay.
Nonfiction.
Nonfiction.
I like that sense of, just reality. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The fables are cool.
Yeah.
But I think, just geared towards my personality of being able to envision and see something and be like, oh shit, that's a possibility.
Right.
I like nonfiction.
Word. Alex.
Man, make something up. Gotta make something up for me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So we could dream.
Right.
So we could create.
He's trying to escape.
Yeah, see, I'm the type of person when I digest content, whether it be art, shows, I don't want to predict what's happening.
Okay.
And I get pretty pissed off when I can.
Yeah.
Sometimes the good novels that take the fable approach, they really throw it off where I was like, oh, I didn't know the horse was
Right.
going to do that on the mountain. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Are you a reader? Or do you
So I
read?
try.
Okay.
So as of recent, I've been reading more. See, I'm one of those readers. I read what is pertaining on my brain. So
Okay.
right now, I'm really into like learning different types of music production.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
And the business behind music. So I've been reading about books like that.
Nice.
But on a normal, I could still read a good novel.
There you go. That's what's up. Yeah.
Nick.
Fables, man. I remember it just when you said to use the word fable, I haven't heard that word in a long time. It reminded me back in like second grade, I think they had all the kids was learning poems, and then we had to like recite poems, and they made me learn The Lion and the Mouse. You remember that?
Yeah, of course.
Lion and the
Yes,
Mouse. So
yes.
that's a fable. So I just made me think of that. So I'm gonna go with fable.
Yeah, I'm a fable guy as well. I love to use my imagination. I love seeing other people use theirs and come up with some crazy shit. So
Does that
create
liars though? Do fables create liars?
we getting high level.
It's not lies. It's not lies. It's telling stories. Telling stories.
Oh, all right.
My imagination is too wild. So I'm afraid of my own imagination.
I feel
I
you.
need to like pull it back.
Reel
Give
it
it
back.
back. I'm not mad at that.
Give
at
me
all.
some reality.
Yeah.
And lastly, with love in the air, going with the flow or establishing labels.
Ooh, Lord.
Claim me.
Like, I love SaVon,
claim
bro.
me.
Yeah. I love
Like,
SaVon.
I ain't trying to
love
worry
SaVon.
about it.
Yeah.
With all social media, all these different avenues, I need to know. God damn it! No pun intended on the
feel like
podcast.
Bars.
So I would prefer titles, but it takes a while to get there.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
everybody just can't go around getting the title.
Yeah.
But when it's that time, like I don't want to go with the flow. Let's establish what this is and let's vibe out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that. I don't know. When I was younger, I'd probably give you like, oh yeah, like fuck titles. I don't know. As I'm getting older, I do realize the importance sometimes of, like SaVon said, actually saying and cement what things are.
Yeah.
But naturally, though, I will say though, I do enjoy going with the flow because it could just take you to different realms of a person.
Yes.
Because there's no quote unquote expectations for what you think it could get to.
Yeah.
Which and that could be fun.
Yes.
So I'm kind of stuck between the middle. But as I'm getting older, I am leaning towards what SaVon said. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, establishing a label, you then have to live up to something, as you said. So
Yeah.
there's that pressure, that added pressure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel that.
That's the only cuff, brother. That's the only cuff, brother. That's fair. That's fair. I love it for you. No, that's
Yeah, I
great.
love that for you.
That's great.
Yeah.
As a very flowy brother myself, I have gone with the flow many times, but I feel like in my age, like I to your point of talking about like, it's nice sometimes to have no pressure about it, right? But I'm finding myself is like, I'm not gonna get into anything or try to go with the flow, nothing until I know that I would be open to if it got to that juncture where it's like, oh, we could put a label on it. So until I'm ready to be like in that space, is like, I'm me, baby. Like,
He really a musician.
And he from LA too. That was such a LA answer. Like, that was such a LA answer.
Very
I
vibe.
What's the
respect
LA
it.
answer?
It's a vibe, bro. Like you with the vibes. Like
Yo, that's a
I know
fact.
you was holding back from saying the word vibes.
yeah, no, it's really it's just who I am.
Nah, that's dope.
I feel that.
Yeah. Word. So let's jump into our chat. I want to start with showing some support to Isaiah Rashad. There was a lot of craziness on the internet this past week. There was a video leaked of him minding his business, doing what he wants to do. And I want to say, Stay Busy has a podcast and Need to Know as well. We support the LGBTQIA community. So there's no judgment here. And I just think y'all are weird, honestly, for whoever outed him. Like, that's something that's just like really messed up to do. Like, when someone wants to express that themselves, they should have the comfort and the security to do that. So, for everyone who's taking a negative spin on this and who's just perpetuating it, like, it shouldn't be such a big story. But when you are a big figure and something comes out that people don't expect, they're going to make a big deal of it. But I don't care about all the craziness. I don't care about any negativity that people are putting on it. Us as men especially, we're supporting him regardless of what he feels. He means a lot to a lot of people. His music has helped people through very difficult things, and also this isn't new. Like, for Frank Ocean has been around for a while. Like, we know several people who identify as LGBTQIA, in our community. So it shouldn't be such a big story, but it was, and it's unfortunate. But yeah, I just want to show support to Isaiah Rashad.
Absolutely.
Sad because if we were talking, before the podcast started, if I'm not mistaken, he was going through things with depression, if I'm not mistaken, right? He had taken a hiatus away from music for a while, and he had finally released his album in terms of, hey, I'm coming back. Yeah. And now, after the album is out, this is how he's received after living out one of his truths. That's sad. You brought up a point about Tyler Frank. Did you say Frank or Tyler?
Frank Ocean.
You said Frank Ocean, right?
Yeah, but Tyler too. Yeah.
I have a question for the three of y'all. Do you guys think that if it wasn't, I'm gonna put it like this, right? Do you feel like people treat Frank Ocean and Tyler, the Creator, the way they do with their sexuality because they necessarily haven't seen it and it isn't in their face? And with this Isaiah Rashad thing, of course it wasn't on their mind. They think they know he has a daughter, but because they saw it, it pushed something in their head. Because I will say, a lot of people I was speaking to, they were like, they would never do this to Tyler or Frank. And I was like, you know what? You don't know people. I think with people, a lot of the times, they don't know themselves until that moment occurs.
Yeah.
And I think when it was in their face is when they start to be like, wait, I don't really? Wow. Yeah. That's when it could change.
It reminds me, and I know this is not a sports podcast, but a few years ago, there was a story with Ray Rice, right? And him and his girl, they got into a domestic dispute in the elevator. Yeah. And at first, it was just rumblings. And he was able to keep his job. He continued to do what he had to do. But once the video got released, it changed everybody's perception of the whole situation.
Yeah. Right.
So I think, to your point, I think with Frank and with Tyler, they're open and comfortable in their own sexuality, but not knowing or seeing what they do, living in that mystique is a little bit different, especially because their messaging came from them. Yeah. That's the other thing. I remember, y'all remember Tumblr?
Yep.
Yeah. I remember when Tumblr, when he put that letter out and it was a thing on Tumblr, and he was kind of forthcoming with that information opposed to Isaiah Rashad, where it just feels nasty and disgusting the way that, something so personal to him was revealed and exposed to the world. So
took the power, took the agency out of it.
Yeah, agency.
Yeah, people deserve to control their narrative.
Absolutely.
We don't know. It could have been something he was ready to announce, and now he lost that opportunity. So fuck y'all, honestly, whover did that. Like, fuck you. I genuinely.
No, that's what we were saying like earlier. Like, you gotta find an IP address. We
we gonna find that IP address.
Yeah,
we gonna find.
We wouldn't let that go.
No, not at all. Have Isaiah call me. Love you, brother.
Yeah. Because I think the another conversation to this is like, we scream mental health, support black people.
I'm glad you said.
You know what I'm saying? We scream those notions on a day-to-day on social media. Yeah. And it's like when we get a chance to really display that as a community, we always fall for the most part, on a large scale. And it's like, you don't know what that man is going through. Yeah. He has people that support or rely on him, depend on him. Yeah. And if he can't go, like all of us know in this entertainment space, there are people who are the nucleus, right? Sure. Which is why they have a fall guy. Sure. When one of those gangster rappers used to run around with the guns, they say, give it to your man. You can't do that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows how this can affect him, his business, his family, his mental, outside of everything else. So prayers to him and his family and his team and anybody that was involved in that, because that was just that was wrong.
Yeah, and lastly, on that, for me at least, he has a very eclectic fan base.
Yep.
So
very they're on their own page.
That's kind of what really shocked me. Because I thought if anyone's fan base would understand, it would be one like his.
I don't even think it's his fans. Because I see a lot of my peoples are like fans of Isaiah Rashad. And they've all posted something like, man, no matter what, like this music has changed my life. Like Sylvia Demo saved me. Like all people have went out of their way to say stuff. So I think to your point, just really quickly, it's like, I think the reason why maybe people may think about it differently with like a Tyler or a Frank, even though they controlled their narrative, it is almost like if we were talking about the expectations, right, of people. People don't think Isaiah presents in a way that may be aligned with what he believes in or what he does. And so I think that may affect like the perception for people or like the shock value, if you will. Yeah. Because it's like it's expected that Tyler or Frank may be on that a little bit, off to the side, or we're doing whatever. So, but yeah, just to your point there. But I think his fans are rocking with him still.
Yeah. And I think that puts the onus on us to embrace the fact that there are various forms of homosexual men. Like that, they're not one thing. Yeah, they're not homogeneous. They're very different. Like you could be super masculine and be gay. You could be feminine and be like. It's not one gay man. It's not one like.
It doesn't look one way.
Yeah, it's not one type of gay man. So all love to you, Isaiah Rashad.
Absolutely.
But the mental health part that you brought up, it's a great segue into discussing Roddy Ricch. So Roddy Ricch put out a snippet of a song this past week, and he was getting torched on the internet, and he ended up deactivating his Instagram and his Twitter, and the whole mental health conversation came up again. Like a lot of people were like, man, like y'all giving him such a hard time, like it's messed up, like we gotta value people's mental health. And while I completely agree, I'm a huge mental health advocate. On the flip side, I think the distinction is some people critique the music. Some people take it further and start to critique the person and get disrespectful and offensive to the person. Yeah. And so I don't think we should look at it in this like everyone is attacking him as a person. It's kind of just like when you're an artist and you put out an album that people don't like, it's just you're going to have your moment where people are slandering what you put out. It doesn't mean that people like I don't hate Roddy Ricch as a person. I don't know him to hate him, but like I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to him being able to bounce back and put out a good project. We know he's capable. His mixtapes, and please excuse me for being antisocial, prior to Live Life Fast, were all good. So he's very capable. But Alex, you and I kind of had an exchange on Twitter about it, like just the snippet. And one thing you brought up, it was a conversation I had with someone else with regards to 2 Chainz. You were like, I can accept this okay sounding track from Roddy or this good sounding track from Roddy because there's other stuff out here that isn't as good. So I kind of wanted to lead into a conversation about like just critiquing music for it is, and then also kind of comparing to other things, because it's natural to compare. That's what we do. Like that's what Twitter is. People put one album greater than another album, and like the albums might be completely different, but at the end of the day, like that's just what we do. We naturally compare things. So I kind of wanted you to speak on that a little more, like why that was the lens in which you kind of looked at the Roddy Ricch snippet and assessed it.
Well, for one, we do it with Drake all the time. Drake just put out Certified Lover Boy, and a lot of us already knew a lot of those records were confirmed to be leaks. We knew that. A lot of us knew that, and we still listened to the album, and it's still streamed high because he's Drake. So you know what I'm saying? It's like with Roddy Ricch, we know what he did with Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial, correct? That's the name of the first one?
Yep.
Yeah.
We know what he did with it. We know the effect it had on all of us. We know the numbers it did. So if I know this young man is capable of doing this, and naturally, we know how sophomore slumps go. Yeah. As a matter of fact, we expect it out of people. On round 2, if you really pay attention for the rookie artists, on round 2, we usually don't expect much.
That's the hardest one.
That's the hardest, because all of us, again, know that, because we are always so attached to the first one. So again, I'm not calling Roddy Ricch Drake, but if we can say, yo, these really good artists make good bodies of work, and now all of the music is going to sound like what that first one sound, then we should create that grace for them. Yeah. If we can do it with Drake, we can do it with other people. Like, other people make good music. And another thing what people don't understand, Armand, is the process of making music. Recently, you opened this episode with saying, I just got my first placements.
Congrats.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
In these times, in these sessions, I've been with these artists, and a lot of these fans, bro, really don't understand what it takes to even create a hook.
Talk to him, bro.
Really?
They have no, and Nick's an artist. He can speak to it. They wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even know where to begin. Fuck a verse. Fuck a 16. Fuck a bridge. Fuck a beat switch. They wouldn't even know where to start with a hook. And it's so easy for them to berate people that are consciously trying to make an effort. Roddy Ricch this week, right? He posted a snippet that you're talking about. In his story before he deleted it, he said, I guess I'm a flop now.
Yeah.
So now a guy that we know makes good music has listened to the internet and is now affected while he's trying to give y'all a better version of what y'all didn't like. Boy was so hyped, he dropped a snippet. See, I don't know see, a lot of people that don't make music don't know what that means. We dropping a snippet because I'm so connected to this little piece right here that I just want a little feedback.
Right.
So y'all don't gotta love it.
Right.
But come on now.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Come on now.
As y'all, because I'm like I'm aware I'm not a music guy,
Right.
right? I'm a casual music consumer.
Right.
I listen to what I listen to. I like what I
right,
like.
right.
I rely on this guy for all of the
Got us, bro.
informative music takes. Like I
Right.
rely on him. But one thing I didn't notice with Roddy, because he was such like a megastar, and he came not out of nowhere, but in a mainstream sense, like the Grammys and those awards and that limelight, he kind of came out of nowhere, and it's a lot of pressure, you know.
100%.
He kind of took some time off a little bit, some would say, from his last project. But you guys just being so involved and in tune with music, like, where do you think he went wrong on this project? Was it mismanagement from the label? You know, did they kind of prop him in a position maybe he just wasn't ready for? You know, like, where did they go wrong with Roddy?
So a lot of people feel like he waited too long. I don't think he waited too long. A 2-year wait is not.
Me neither.
That's not a.
It's a normal cycle.
Especially coming off that type of album.
Yeah, like please excuse me for being antisocial. Still streams hard. I still hear the box on the radio. Like that album was successful. So I don't think waiting 2 years was the problem. The rollout wasn't really too intentional. He put out late at night. Early 2021, we didn't get another single. Like he announced the album, put out the cover art. Cover art was dope. The the film thing, he did like no skips only. He did like a film poster, but he didn't really get momentum going. And so it felt like either him or the label felt like he was big enough where he could just put this out and it's going to impact the people. And like getting into the actual music of it, I felt like he kind of deviated from what was his strongest thing, was blending rap and melodies. It felt like he was trying to rap more. And not that that's a bad thing, but keys. Like his vocals were kind of monotone. He sounded bored. He didn't sound inspired. And the problem was he went on KD and Bansky's pod talking about, yo, nobody else's music is inspiring me. Like I got some shit coming for y'all. So he hyped it up. He put that expectation on himself in addition to putting out good music. And that's the danger of being successful, is the expectations heighten. And then hearing that is like, this doesn't feel like there was effort or thought put into it. He didn't sound excited on his album. It didn't. Okay. I don't feel like we learned anything new from him. And like he did an interview in 2020 where he talked about how he didn't want to rush his next album. He wanted to live life and have more stories to tell. Right. Nothing translated. But besides him, I think he's a father now. He's about to become a father. And he talked about that a little bit. But besides that, I didn't really feel like I learned anything new about him. Got it. So to talk all that shit and then not really deliver on the shit talk is like, yeah. So that's where I feel he went wrong.
That makes sense.
No, he said it all. What was the story? What was different sonically? How you elevating the music? All of the things. It was just like, and also too, the rollout felt very, very rushed. Yeah, it felt look at the cover art.
Taking so much time, right?
Yeah.
No, look at the cover art. I was excited for it because that last project, it was so dope. It was no skips. I think a lot of people were excited for it. And you play the first few songs. You're like, okay, it's starting off a little bit slow, and then you kind of get to a point where you're like, yo, this doesn't get better. Like, oh shit, like, hey, what happened? Let me come back to this bullshit.
I might come back to this maybe. Yeah. So what happened to the pianos?
Yeah.
What happened to the organs?
The guitar.
What happened to the chords? What happened to the guitar? I remember when he was touring, please excuse me for being antisocial. You remember, Nick, you know what I'm about to say? Here come Roddy on stage learning how to play chords on the piano as he's recording. And you could hear how all of that was already wrapped and engulfed into that album. When he put out that single this year, it sounded like that was the last bit of antisocial. Yeah. Like probably like one of the last records. Didn't make it. And then he just started to make very fun music. Yeah. And that's no problem, Roddy. Yeah. But you got to understand, Playboy, after you made a deep-ass album like that, you successfully blended trap, soulful elements,
a little bit of gospel in there,
with bit of gospel with the chorus and you were able to concoct something so beautiful and call it hip hop, bro. And then you, on your sophomore joint, bro, it just sounds like you got dudes that are accredited with beat making, but it sounds like regular club beats, bro. Yeah. And you just doing regular Roddy on it. Regular Roddy sounds good. That's why I'm not killing him, like I said earlier. Yeah. But dog, you gotta know.
You're capable of more.
If you heard the chords you used on that first album, dog, and it's not a lick of that on that second one. Come on, bro. What would you expect the fans to expect from you? Do you think they're expecting that club music or that fucking deep ass beautiful masterpiece you just gave them?
It's like he went from I'm an artist to I'm a rapper.
I'm a rapper.
So he boxed himself into, hey, I just want to be a rapper. Rapper. I'm gonna get all of these rappers who are hot, who got the hooks, who got whatever, the Futures, the Lil Babies, everybody. I'm gonna put that collective on my art. And bro, you could go get Kirk Franklin and make some fire. Bro. You could go get whomever and make some fire. You don't have to box yourself.
That's his guy.
Yeah, you don't have to like box yourself in. And I feel like he kind of boxed himself in. Like him and Ty Dolla $ign on that first album. That was one of my favorite songs of the last 2 years.
Barely used Ty on this last one. It was a 1 minute song.
So
what are we doing?
Again, just going back to Isaiah Rashad, like prayers for artists and people who are going through things. Like it's two different extremes, right? When it comes to Isaiah Rashad, his sexuality, and now with Roddy, it's his music, it's his art. You know, they still probably going through similar situations because they don't feel accepted. And I think again, just us, we have a tough job as podcasters, as people who give our thoughts, our opinions, and do it on a weekly basis, you know? But when it comes to the music, I think I'm a little bit tougher, right? So on my podcast, I'm a little bit tougher on people because I like it or I don't. I'm not mincing my words. If that shit is ass, I'm going to get on there. And he got to pull me back like, bro, you can't use the word ass when talking about music. I'm like, it's ass. My nigga, what's up?
If something is some ass, it's ass.
Like, that's how I do it. You know, but I understand that people who actually are invested in the process of making music, like going back to Alex's point about making music, there used to be a time back a few years ago where me and my friends, we would smoke, we would just throw on an instrumental, and we would try to rap.
Yeah.
We would just try to rap, right? So you start out with the fucking Mobb Deeps and the Jada Kids, because it's easy to catch those pockets, right? It's easy to catch those pockets. But then I dare anybody listening to this podcast, just throw on About the Money by Young Thug and T.I. And tell me when you're supposed to start rap. Like, how do you niggas pick up where you hear this? How do you stay on beat? How do you make a chorus out? What the fuck do these niggas be doing? Like, that's how I feel.
How did Young Thug hear that beat and do what he did?
Anybody hear that beat and say, we about to make this the hottest song of 2016, 2015.
Just to catch that pocket,
it doesn't. It's fucking amazing what these artists do. So I understand the nuances in that. But yeah, man, prayers to everybody who feels like their music being slept on.
And you want to know what I love about this conversation is we are critiquing, not judging. We're coming from a place of love. A lot of social media discourse around music, it blurs between critique and judgment. Critique comes from a place of love. Judgment is you're saying negative things about someone. You're trying to be offensive. You're trying to slander them. And I think we have to do a better job of distinguishing critique versus judgment. Because a lot of people be like, oh, you're hating, you're being disrespectful. No. The only reason we would spend damn near 10 minutes talking about Roddy is because we know what he's capable of and we love what he did prior. We know, bro, I want you to bounce back. I don't want to see you get lost and like never put anything else out again. Like like you're not a flop. That album was a flop, but that just means come harder next time.
Right,
like, that's really what it is. And this kind of leads into another conversation I want to have with y'all. I referred to the 2 Chainz conversation I was having earlier.
Thank God.
And I want to talk about the concept of letting people enjoy things, but also letting people dislike things. Because oftentimes on social media, when someone likes something and you don't, and you critique it, people will be like, yo, you just got to let people enjoy things. Like, I like it. But then when it comes to disliking things, people will try to tell you, oh, you dislike it because of this, or you're hating. And then sometimes if you like something too much, you'll be like, oh, he's dick riding, which I hate. I'm like, just because I like something more than you doesn't mean I'm dick riding. So I kind of want to get into y'all perspectives on that and the concept of being a dick rider. When you're giving someone praise that they just rightfully deserve, do you think dick riding like exists? Like, is that a thing? And why is that the thing that people kind of pivot to rather than just accepting maybe I don't like this as much as you?
I think dick riding is definitely a thing.
Explain it. Get into it.
But I think there's different variations. I think a lot of people project, right? And so I think, especially as men, because I'll never try to speak for women, but as men, we'll hear something, we like something, and we don't say it. We sometimes don't even know how to say it.
Trying to be too cool.
Literally.
We almost don't say things are cool until a collective accepts it as cool. And then it's like, oh shit, that shit is dope, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a fine line between like support and then just kind of dick riding. And I don't think we really distinguish that as a culture. You know what I'm saying? When it goes to like the 2 Chainz conversation, I think artists, they operate in their own island. And they are the last to know when their time is done. And I think they're normally the last to know. And I love your work because, Armand, you inspire me on a whole different level when it comes to your pen, when it comes to your detail, when it comes to your words, when it comes to your writing, your craft. Like, you have inspired me. You've kept me up at night thinking like, yo, damn, this is what the fucking landscape looks like. I gotta call Alex. I call Alex like, yo, mine is out here killing, nigga. Like, we gotta step it up. And it's all out of love. You know what I'm saying? It's all out of love and respect. Just like Reggie, going to Reggie. Like, I love her work too. But, I think, we are the generation to kind of normalize that showing love. Like, I didn't know Armand from a hole in the wall. I knew his work before I knew him, before I knew the man. I supported the work before I supported the man because I didn't know the man. But had I not shown that outward love and vice versa, he's shown me a lot of love too. Had we not done that, we may not be sitting on this couch and having this conversation because, it's pride and it's ego. And we weren't taught that growing up. You don't get taught how to show love. You kind of just got to figure that shit out. And, a lot of credit to Alex. He kind of introduced me to that concept of, bro, just do you. And when you do you, it's going to come back to you. And ever since I lived like that, my life has been changed. In fact. So I think, that word dick rider, it's just a prideful thing. And I think it's something that we're going to outgrow after a while. And that's just my thoughts on it.
I think people hate stands.
Yeah.
So I think people really associate dick riding with stands. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, though. I could see why people hate stands because a lot of the time stands are unable to just discern with their favorite artists a lot of the times, right? So I think people attach that word together. So for instance, if they see you talking about a particular artist online, Armand, they might not even particularly know you, but because they know that this artist is usually stand, they're assuming that you're speaking from a dick riding position.
I hate that.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's really what it is. And
I'm not one of them.
No, I feel you, bro.
I'm not one of them.
And it's annoying because a lot of this shit be out of context, right? Like it'd be a tweet and it'd be like, yo, if you really know me, I take the time to really gauge this music. And I'm not just out here saying whatever. But again, social media is very performative in that way. Right? So if you pay attention to a lot of the tweets that are hate, they trying to go viral. You can see the way it's worded. You can see the extra sauce that's put on it. There's you can see certain like they want certain buzzwords. They want a lot of people to either retweet and share this. So a lot of that shit don't even be derived from their own thoughts of what's going on. But I think that's the biggest problem, and people don't like stands, so they associate everything.
I agree. I do think dick riding does exist. And it goes parallel with being a stan. The people who can't say because they love an artist so much they can't admit, oh, that song wasn't that good.
Yes, that's what it is.
And that's like when we talk about Certified Lover Boy, for example. Like I think that surprised a lot of people because Drake is my guy. Like it goes without saying.
Love Drake.
You love that nigga, man.
I love love. How can we not love Drake though?
I do. I'm not afraid to admit it. I love Drake. I love his music. I love the grassy Drake that guy.
Pusha T dropping.
Pusha T is dropping.
Season, nigga.
There's peace now. Stop.
But I think we have to stop immediately pivoting to that rather than just accepting like someone might like something more than you, and also take the time to get to know the person putting the message out. Because if you see me, I got no problem telling. I love Future too. I'll say if that Future song is bad, I love most of his albums, but that Future song was bad. And well, what do you say then? Am I a dick rider then? Come on. Yeah. Speaking of Future, I want to get into a little bit of new music before we transition. Future put out a single, "Worst Day." Yeah. Talking about Valentine's Day and how it's the worst day because he got to buy so many different women gifts and all that.
Oh, that's what the song is about?
Yeah. It was such
you would have loved it.
Oh, I love this nigga. Oh, I didn't even know bad.
Because SaVon not really big on Future too.
I'm not a big,
Okay.
so I don't
Not really
listen
big
to
on
it.
it.
Again,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
casual man,
yeah.
so if it don't come
That's
on my radar,
funny.
I'm
was
not
talking that
listening
shit
to
on
it. But
there.
I gotta go tap in.
Nah, this might be your anthem.
He's a sicko. He's a sicko for it. Like to time it for this weekend, knowing so many people, everybody gonna be playing money long hours and hours. Future's like, I'm about to get negative on y'all. It's too many women. I gotta buy gifts. Valentine's Day is the worst day, and a lot of people do hate Valentine's Day. So I think a lot of people are going to align with this record.
Yeah.
In terms of assessing it, I thought it was cool. Future's singles hit more often than they miss.
Yeah.
I think I'm just at the point where I'm ready to hear a Future album. Like I don't. Future's the artist now where he's so established. Singles are cool. I know you got to get the momentum going, promotion, all that. But I'm ready for the Future album, especially coming off High Off Life in 2020, which I did not like at all.
Okay,
Like, I basically I pretended it didn't happen. So
I forgot it happened.
That's funny. Okay.
So yeah, how about y'all? Well, where y'all at with Future? I know SaVon, you're not big on it. Nick and Alex, where y'all at with Future?
For the most part, I'm a Future fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Future fan. Well, I like his different styles, right? So the style he had on this one was he talks more, and I like that. The one thing about Future is we need people that are clear in who they are. I think that's one of the things I do appreciate about Future.
100%.
I think I appreciate about anyone that's like that. You feel what I'm saying? So I think it's important to have the money longs because there's people living like that.
Yeah.
It's important to have the Futures, whatever. What's Worst Day?
Yeah,
it's
Worst
important to have the worst days because people are living like that.
Yeah.
It's sort of like with my music list. Like I asked a question last night. He was asking me, so like, if the songs are bad, do you put it on the list? I'm like, listen, bro, music is subjective.
Yeah.
It is not my decision to determine whether the music is good or not, but to alert you of what's out.
Yeah.
So again, back to the Future thing. I love Future because he is who he is.
Yeah.
And I like this record, man.
Yeah.
I like when he gets into those Zaytoven, Wheezy type soul Atlanta type beats.
Yeah.
He usually walks on those. So yeah.
So for me, real quick before you
Yeah.
go, Nick, just
I
to
know what to
piggyback
say
off
on
what he was saying, because
Right.
I'm never gonna give like a musical breakdown of anything,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I'm always
That's
gonna
fine.
look. I'm always gonna look a little bit deeper. So when I hear Future, right, the thing that I like about Future is that he is a master. A lot of people give Kanye credit for this. He is a master marketer.
Yeah.
He has a brand. He has an image. He doubled downs on it. I see he has some content coming with Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
So again, maybe I'm not the music guy, right? I'm not checking for every release, but best believe I'm studying this guy. I'm studying everybody at the highest of levels.
That's your marketing mind.
So So with Future, it's like, all right, I appreciate the fact that you could drop a song with this concept and then go drop a picture on couple goals with your girl and have everybody fooled. Just like you was popping perkies, but you don't do perks.
Yeah.
You don't sip lean. But it's marketing, and he leans into it.
Yeah.
He has that brand, and I respect that. I respect him as an artist too. He's not for me. Like I don't listen to him like that, but he's dope. Like I fuck with him, and I like the fact that he's putting a song out like this because I think that is on brand for him. And a lot of artists, they stray away from who they are. They try to switch things up a little too much. Talking about your man 2 Chainz, like my nigga, you 50 years old. Why you got a shoebox on your as your cover, my nigga? What you talking about? Open a bank account.
Hey, all right now. We're gonna get there in a second.
No,
though,
but
Hold
that's
on
it.
now.
That's just my future take. Just my
All right
future
now.
That's funny.
We can talk about change in a
No,
second.
we good. I mean, Future. I respect Future. I enjoy his music. I just enjoy it for what it is. I have no expectations of Future. I don't want nothing from him. I'm not. Hey, I wanted this on the project. No, Future. Give me what I get, and I'll just go with it. I love
Just
it.
want to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
Let's show some love to the ladies before we close the chat. Jazmine Sullivan dropped the highly anticipated Hotels, Motels, Deluxe. I believe it was 8 records, eight new records.
Yeah.
We got Issa's tale on there. Issa had a little thing where she was
funny
talking.
story.
Really great. I mean, I expected greatness from Jazmine Sullivan, and she delivered. I really enjoyed all of it. That's really all I have to say. There's not much to say when something is that great. So
I actually was just listening to it on the way here. One of the projects, I'm not really a big fan of skits on albums.
You're not.
I hate it. I'm gonna be honest with you,
Really?
Nick. I'm gonna tell you why. Because
Tell
I'm
me
a
why.
type
Let's
of
talk
guy.
about it.
When I get into a car, and this is just probably Alex's brain, I don't do singles or a playlist. People always expect playlists out of me. No, I'm putting on an album.
yes, always, always.
Because I usually drive a lot. It might be a 30-minute drive, hour-minute drive, where I would drive, whatever it is. So I like to just hear a good music straight through. This Jazmine Sullivan project, both versions were done very tastefully. And one of the new records on this Deluxe, there's a tale called Bro Tales.
Yeah.
and it's a guy opening up about his interaction with a young lady who had him on her roster and how that affected him. So on this Deluxe, I love seeing that version a little bit. Yeah. And I would love to see one of these guys. I might do it with Devon. I don't know. I would love to hear a Bro Tales version of Jazmine Sullivan's, and we could really pull from our distress.
Kojo said that too. I seen him tweeted that.
I would love to see that because again, a lot of guys don't know how to get vulnerable correctly.
Yep.
Yes.
They don't. It's either way too soft for X amount of men to not want to support, or they don't know how to get vulnerable. They stay very surface. So just to piggyback into what you just said, I loved how she added that addition. I love hearing men's version of things too. We go through pain too.
Oh, absolutely.
We be hurt.
For 100%.
Yeah, I love the Jazmine Sullivan. I love her work, her recent work. I'm not a fan of dropping a Deluxe a year later though. Like I feel, and honestly, I feel like it's lazy.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
I think it's
I have
lazy.
a counter for that.
You know what I'm saying? I think it was a great body of work for that time. I think honestly, you could put it up there, and her catalog is, if not the best, one of the best projects that she's had. And it's nice to see a resurgence in her career. Like I remember Jazmine Sullivan when I was in high school, middle school, talking about lions, tigers, and bears, busting
windows out your car.
I remember that. Like that was the era, and you know. I don't know if it's marketing. I don't know if it's just new life, new energy, new experiences. Timing. You know, like it's timing. And she came back, and you know, it was great to see her. But you know, when I see new Jazmine Sullivan a year later, I don't really look for an extended version of an old concept, the old project. It's like, yo, first off, you don't give us a lot of music, and now you just kind of piggybacking off of some of your older work.
I have a counter for that. One. I agree with you from the musical side, because what I wanted, and we always talk about this from Deluxes, I want people to go crazy with, give me a new order, give me a new spin on it, right? And specifically because she had a lot of sketches in it, right? I wanted a new narrative. What's the motels on the hotels, right? Give me the motels. Right, the mo, right? And so I purposely, I guess, kind of stayed away from the project for a while just because I wanted to hear what was new. And I felt as if there were certain points where I felt like, okay, like I listened through it all the way through. There was some new revelation that I got from the project, but I wanted it to be kind of weaved in a little bit more to what was already there because it was a year later. But I enjoyed it, and we sat a moment and it's like, yo, that's actually kind of smart that you did it a year later because the tour is coming. The tour is coming, and it's like a resurgence. It's an excitement again, and she has another project's worth of songs on here for that. So for the people who it's really for, the people who's really locked in, they get new music, which is great. And a great extra part of the Deluxe is great. That they're going to be rocking with the tour. So I bet I would love to see in their data from when she released to when right now, what was the correlation of the tour sales, ticket sales, and I bet you it's on an upward trend.
Got it. That makes sense.
You know my favorite Deluxes? My favorite Deluxes, shout out to Shawnee Bin Laden. He's a popular drill artist right now out in New York. And his approaches on Deluxe albums are just new albums. That is my favorite. I'm not checking the last album to see what was the last song. So on the Deluxe, I could see where to start. I just love hitting track 1 on a Deluxe project, which is full of new songs. So I think if maybe she could have added that approach, it probably would have felt more immersive.
How many songs is on this Deluxe?
I think 4 skits.
It makes it a 24 song with everything.
10, I think.
Okay.
It's a long joint.
So I think that could have been just a whole different project, marketed different. In my mind, again, I'm not an artist. I don't know what goes into that process. I just look at it as like, yo, it's a little bit lazy because I just want new. If you're gonna give me new, give me new.
And I tell SaVon all the time, his casual listener ear is very important. Because this is what markets are marketing for. Like they're trying to accommodate
the casual listener more than anyone else.
I tell them all the time, it's important to see what you think because that's where people are trying to break.
Yeah, 100%. Well, what a great chat. We got to a lot. Want to give a quick shout out to our employee of the month. He will be celebrating a birthday this week. My guy, Jameel Raeburn, a.k.a. Meelz. Shout out to you.
What up, Meelz?
Another year of
Happy
life.
birthday,
Shout out to Meelz, man.
Enjoy it. Black boy joy. But let's hear some tunes before we get into some more fun. before we get into the interview with our guys, we would like to play a fun game, a little segment we are calling Need to Know Basis. So we got some interesting questions for y'all, and we want to hear how y'all feeling. You know what I'm saying? Be honest, be open, be raw. That's what we're here for.
That's my problem. That's my problem.
I had to crack the drink for this
I'm
one.
on a loose cannon, so
I get in trouble every week because of my podcast.
yeah. So I think we're gonna trade off. Actually, if you feel empowered to answer one of the questions, feel free. So first question: what's the boldest thing a woman has said to you?
Show me that.
All right, so in the intro, right, I have a CMOS company, Purpose CMOS. Please go get all the nutrients and vitamins that you need. Yeah. PurposeCMOSgel.com. That's where you can find it, right? The boldest thing that has happened to me is somebody said, hey, I would love to try your supplement, your product. Can you please drop off a 16-ounce jar of CMOS and dick? And I was a little flustered. I said, I didn't know that came with the CMOS. Like, you getting mad nutrients and everything else. I thought that was enough.
She wanted the combo deal.
But she thought that like it was a 2-for-1, and that was fairly recent. But yeah, she asked for, CMOS and dick.
Is that the new Netflix and chill?
I mean, maybe, if the marketing work, if it's going to sell, fuck it.
Nah, that's fine, though.
Yeah,
Think about it. That's a great combo.
That was the boldest thing that happened to me in recent memory.
Oh, my goodness.
Alex? It's funny. We was kind of just talking about this on the last episode. I had a young lady, young harlot, that was interested in young harlot that was interested in me, and she had asked, because granted we had never met each other yet at that time. She was asking for, pictures, so I sent a little selfie. You know what I'm saying? I felt sus because I don't even take selfies. I had to search the photo album like, damn, do you take pictures, eh? After I did that, I thought that was cool. She gonna text back, say, I'm gonna need a video with you nutting.
That's a thing now, bro.
I said, excuse me?
That's a thing.
She said, I'm gonna need you to nut on the camera and send it.
That's a thing.
I said, excuse me? I said, excuse me? She said, nigga, you heard me.
You heard me.
Then that's when I said, excuse me? Never talked again.
Yo, so I didn't know. We usually don't get into this on Stay Busy, but the guys are here. So
now.
Let's do it.
Y'all
So
fucked up.
I didn't know nut videos were a thing that were requested until 2020, the pandemic. All of a sudden on social media, people was talking about nut videos, and my thing is like, that's kind of difficult because like you gotta hold are you putting the camera on a tripod? Are you holding it with one hand? Like,
thank you, Armand. I don't know.
Do you want to see the full process? Do you just want to see the climax? Like,
she said, I
want
want
to need proper lighting. Do you want background music? Like, it's like I don't want to half-ass it.
Do you know how crazy I'm gonna be fucking up my iPhone with cum,
bro? Like.
The nerve! You think that's how I'm gonna kill my iPhone,
bro?
Young lady, you got another thing coming. If I'm gonna break my iPhone, it's gonna come from something else. But it ain't gonna be from my nutrients flooding into my inner circuit. Ain't finna do that.
Charger port all fucked up.
You know what I'm saying? It's my nutrient. That's my baby. What the fuck?
Stay busy after dark.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. My nutrient. Come on, we gotta go. We acting up.
I know, right? I'm like, damn.
Hey, we asked.
These niggas that heard this shit is crazy.
We brought this upon ourselves.
This is a responsible discussion because like you gotta tell the expectations
Lord Jesus.
of what you want. Don't just say do it. Like tell me, you know what I'm saying? You want the angles.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Had me shook.
Yeah.
How is she?
I didn't check.
You don't know how she
I
doing?
don't know where she at.
Okay, all right.
I don't know where she
Hope
at.
she's doing well. I
probably got mad videos on her phone.
Her storage is crazy right now. Better hope nobody hacks her iCloud.
If she was that, oh never mind. I'm gonna just keep that.
Yeah, no, I knew exactly where you was going.
Crazy.
I knew exactly where you was going.
Oh, she just got a collage of niggas busting nuts on her phone.
That's crazy.
Next question.
She the new X video.
She's wet. I can't.
If you had to eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
My grandmother's chicken parm.
I feel like you said that.
That's why you said marinara.
Easy day.
Yeah, that's why you said marinara.
All day. My grandmother's chicken parm. Just give me a little bit of noodles on the side. Some Texas toast.
Okay.
I don't
Texas
even need the
toast.
expensive Texas toast. Give me the Texas toast that stay frozen. All you got to do is throw it in a little microwave, and I'm good for life.
A little butter on
I
it.
love that. Like,
Yeah.
just really quickly, like it's seeing over here. I feel like like black folks in LA, like we cook Mexican food, but we do it a certain way. Like instead of putting salsa, most black folks will put like ketchup on the tacos, right?
Okay.
So like hearing the no, don't knock it before you try it.
Okay,
I
you're
won't,
right.
because that might be a little something.
Don't knock it before you try
I
it.
dated a Mexican woman for a very long time, brother.
Okay.
So I would get shot. Like,
of course.
I can't see me doing that.
Of course,
but I
right.
understand. I respect.
But it's a thing. Just so y'all know, it's like a thing.
Dope.
And it's like a lot of black folks out there like cook Mexican food in like kind of like a soulful way. So it's like a blend type of cuisine. So it's interesting hearing you talk about your favorite thing from. I'm assuming your grandmother's black.
Yeah, she's a black woman. Yeah.
Black grandmother cooking chicken parm is like your favorite dish.
Black people love Italian.
You know what I'm saying?
food,
It's
like-
interesting. Yeah. It's like so out on the East. It's like obviously there's a strong Italian presence here. So it's like having that cultural connection there. But it's like,
You know the joke.
she making it black.
You know the joke. Black moms make spaghetti 8 times a week. They ain't even 8 days in the week. But if you live in a black household, you having spaghetti a lot.
I ate a lot of spaghetti growing up.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
Alex, how about you?
I'm not. I come from a Nigerian household, bro. So if you know anything, it's Nigerian rice and chicken. I'm bugging. Jollof rice and chicken. Sorry, I said Nigerian. That DM me. Jollof rice and chicken. I'll be good for the day. That's it. Just need small of it. I'm okay.
Yo, he be switching into the accent so easy. It's natural. It's real.
That's it. Just give me some chicken. That's it. Doing good.
Lastly, this is an interesting one, Nick. I like this one. What do you wish grew on trees?
Damn. That's a very good question.
Alex, you want to take that one first?
Yeah, because I don't want to say money, because I feel like that's just so
Easy,
obvious.
right?
Technically does.
What are the things that we actually need that should just be grown at a quick rate?
That is a good one.
That's a very good question. Hold on, I want to answer that. I'm really just trying to, because money is too easy, right? Do I want a car? No, I want a car.
I wasn't thinking that high utility. Y'all thinking of like a Swiss Army knife coming off a tree. I don't care about nothing. I'm like, I was like, it'd be cool if we had a cheeseburger tree.
That's like a cheeseburger tree
in my backyard, and a little cheeseburger just right there off the tree.
Just go grab it.
Okay,
And I just eat a little cheeseburger off the tree. Something
not mad
nice,
at
something
that.
cool.
You might be onto something. I wish weed grew on the trees. I mean, they do, but you know what I'm saying? I just wish,
So the roll, like a roll.
Imagine a
pre-roll.
palm tree with a little eighth on it.
That'd be fine.
Think about it. Think about it. These are things to think about.
I'm not mad, bro. I'm not mad. Is it a pre-roll tree?
I said,
Nah, they on to something. That's a little bit.
Is it a pre-roll tree?
I might be asking for too much.
That'd be lit.
Okay.
I might be
all
asking
right.
too
All
much.
right.
Yeah.
I think I'm about to snitch on myself a little bit. I'm a little programmed. I need like a Wi-Fi tree.
A Wi-Fi
Like
tree.
I just need I need Wi-Fi everywhere I go.
I feel that.
That's it.
A Wi-Fi tree.
I just need a router. Like if I go to a hotel, I want to know like, yo, the Wi-Fi is gonna be good.
So if you sit next to the Wi-Fi tree, it just lit.
It's
like,
just lit. Everything's
Or you could just
You
pull
might be
one of them
onto
little
something.
portable Wi-Fi joints off of
That's
it.
it.
take it
Oh
with
yeah,
you.
maybe
Yeah.
like a little,
Yeah.
a little
Like,
one of the vines, like an Ethernet joint. Bam.
Little Wi-Fi.
You might be onto something.
Make my life a little bit easier. You
might
might
be
Wi-Fi
right.
on the tree.
I like that.
I love it. I love it. So to get into y'all, man, like being that you're both from Long Island, like how did y'all meet and what were y'all first impressions of one another?
We met in school.
Word.
I love telling the story, so thank you for
Oh,
asking.
y'all go back. Y'all go back.
Well, we met in college, so we
Yeah.
met in college, and
You went to LIU
we
Post,
went
right?
to LIU
Yep,
Post.
LIU
Yup.
Post,
So we both went to LIU Post, and our classes kind of crossed paths here and there. But Alex dormed.
I did.
Alex was on campus. He was the cool guy, you know. He was out here he was
Amongst
doing his
other
thing.
things.
Yeah, he was just killing shit, right? I was a commuter, so I didn't really have that social life as much. But actually, my brother who's here with me, he and I, we went to school together. And me and Alex, we came across each other. And I was early on this podcasting thing. Like, before it was really in the mainstream, 2015, 2016, I really believed in podcasting.
Right.
And so this guy to my left, Alex, he's talented. He's gifted.
Right.
Like super gifted.
Thank you. I appreciate
And
that.
a teacher played his project, and I said, "Who is this black nigga with this beard? Why he got a beard and my hairline's receding? Like, what is happening?" So, long story short, I approached him about doing a podcast.
That's great.
And I don't know if you want to take it from here, brother. 'cause you know the
So
story.
I ain't even gonna lie, right? So at that time, the project he is mentioning, I was doing like a man on the street type thing. Mind you, this is either I think I just came back from my internship with Queen Latifah.
Bet.
So I was interning over there on the camera department.
Bet.
So before all of this podcast and shit, I really thought I was really wanting to be one of these camera guys.
Camera op, yeah.
Camera op, right. I thought I was about to be fully and fledged into TV and film. You feel what I'm saying? So granted, I'm finishing my last couple of classes. But SaVon pulls up and he's trying to ask me to do a podcast. I think we went out to Applebee's.
This is before Applebee's.
This is before Applebee's?
So what happened?
You came to me in the class, right?
This is what happened.
Go, yeah. I won't
Drake.
mess it up. Oh my God, yes.
It was Views came out.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do an album review. And I saw how talented he was on camera, so I thought maybe it would translate in radio and podcasting.
Right.
So I asked him, yo, can you pull up? Let's just do an album review. Let's talk. Because he used to be a Drake stan. Yeah. He was on your team. Before he had to become neutral in music, the nigga loved Drake. So I'm like, yo, I know he's dope. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. So we ended up doing this project for one of my professors, and we went straight through. We had no experience, but our chemistry was just there. It was just me and him in the studio. We went track by track, every single song. We had great banter, great counterpoints. Yeah. It was like I knew this nigga forever, but we never worked together.
Ever.
And a month later, I decided I actually wanted to launch the Need to Know podcast. Back then, it was a different version with a whole different cast. But I had asked Alex first, like, yo, man, hey, I'm doing this podcast thing. You know, we killed it, bro. We got thousands of views on SoundCloud.
It did really well.
It's us.
It did.
And he was like, yeah, you can do that shit on your own. Nigga, I'm over here with Queen Latifah. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, brother. So the first time I approached him, you know, that wasn't where his interests aligned.
Yeah, it's just funny how life works. Like, I was completely extracted from what I thought, like, audio careers would be.
Right.
Because, again, I was on set with T.I., Tiana Taylor, DC Young Fly. Like, these are people I'm seeing on an everyday basis and helping them along with the camera crew with some very expensive cameras. So here comes SaVon talking to me about an audio adventure. He talking to me about an audio journey. Mind you, now, I got the iPhone app. I didn't see the little purple thing in there.
God.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I ain't never really divulged in it.
Right.
So again, at that point, as a junior, senior in college, I just couldn't see it. But I think we went to Applebee's then, right?
Yeah, and then I was like, yo, look. Just give me a conversation, bro. Yeah. I know you're busy. I know you're doing your thing. Yeah. I'll pull up on you. Let's talk. At that point, I had just started working with Joe Budden.
Yeah.
And so my podcast, we, you know, out of respect for him, I didn't want him to think that I was trying to just piggyback off of his name. So I didn't relaunch my podcast. But once I felt confident that I could manage my duties with him and also have a podcast in its own lane, that's when I was like, yo, I want to get back into podcasting, and I'm only going to do it if I have Alex with me.
Yeah, that's love.
So I asked him, yo, just give me one conversation. Let me map out some things for you. This is all I need. Yeah. All I need is this. If you give me this, we out. Yeah. He looked at me. He said, I'm going to give you whatever you need. Yeah. And we've been rocking ever since.
What year was this?
Oh my God, was it
2017?
17? Yeah. Not 18? Yeah, it had to be 17.
Yeah, we had the conversation in 2017 and we started getting things rolling in 2018.
Absolutely.
2017.
Yeah. Crazy.
What were those early stages like with the Need to Know podcast? Like kind of just getting your footing, finding your footing, you know, finding your lane, establishing your audience and your identity as a podcast. Was that something that y'all struggled with? Like, well, what were some of the difficulties in those early stages?
Absolutely, man. You know, at first, me and SaVon, you know, podcasts at that time were very guest-based. Yeah. Right? And it seemed like you had to have an allure. Like, granted, there were already shows at that point where it was if it was a niche community, they would already support. But because we're out of college and we're already influxed into pop culture, we were trying to find a cool balance between pop culture and just showing creatives and people that people should know. Right. So at first, I won't lie, a lot of our episodes were very guest-based because we're trying to figure out our footing to see if we could be primarily a show that would be garnered towards guests, musicians, we had comedians. I think comedian was our first episode. Right? We were just trying to be very purposeful.
Arts-based.
Right, arts-based with the content. Exactly. Then after a while, it kind of developed into something greater.
Yeah, I think the toughest thing, again, I always kind of tell people because I was introduced to a lot of people through my affiliation with Joe Budden in that podcast, right? That's a part of my story. I can't change that. But I think me and Alex, we were really keen on making sure that people didn't look at us like we were part two of that podcast or we weren't trying to be that podcast. So we threw a lot of ideas at the wall where we just felt comfortable being us. And I think that was the toughest part because, you know, once you get labeled something, you know, when I'm a character on another project, it's like actors, right? A lot of actors, they'll take a superhero role, but then they resent it because you get typecast. And it's like, I only see this person as Batman. I only see him as Spider-Man. Like Tobey Maguire damn near quit his acting career because of that Spider-Man shit. Spider-Man, like, it's real. So that was one thing that I personally was afraid of. Like, yo, you know, I don't want that to be what it is that we do, because me and Alex, like, we are very strong in who we are as individuals.
Absolutely.
And also as a collective. Like, we have a vision, and, you know, we're grateful for all the opportunities that we had, but we knew that we didn't want to just live on that, in that universe, so to speak, going to Marvel. Right. We didn't just want to be in that universe. So I think that was the toughest part starting out, just finding our footing of, all right, what's the audience, what's the community that we want to build, and how do we get there?
Yeah, because people had already knew us from that realm. So we just wanted to realize, like, even if you learn from us from that realm, there's something ongoing else that's different over here. Yeah.
Because it's so massive, right? And that's the other thing, like, I always tell people we work backwards in this podcasting thing, right? So we tried it, we did our thing, right? We were growing, but we shot to the top. Like, I'm fucking going on tour, so now I'm conflicted, right? Because I'm helping manage one of the biggest podcasts in the world, and I'm seeing their numbers, and I'm seeing their impact, and I'm seeing their influence. But then me and him are going to the studio, and then it's like, oh shit, wait, we ass. Like, that's what I'm thinking, because the numbers ain't there.
I'm arguing him. I'm like, yo, dog, we not ass. It's just
facts.
You are working for one of the most prominent platforms. The platform at that time, right? So it was like, it was hard.
So we struggle. Me personally, I struggle with that. Just like, yo, damn, I see we selling out shit for the people we work for, but when it comes to us, it's not really clicking. Like, what's going on? And you know, he just kept me a course, and you know, look, bro, just stay locked in. We go get there. We go get there.
Consistency.
Until we kind of found our own lane, and now I think we finally hit that stride.
Man, we was sneaking into the college radio station just to record.
Listen,
you'll never know. That. We didn't have a key. Every week we showing up like, yo, hopefully it's open.
Wow.
Telling people from Philly to come out. Pull up. We got a studio.
We don't even know if it's open.
Trying to finesse. Yeah.
So what is? I mean, what has been like an eyebrow? What was an eyebrow raised moment like? Where you're like, yo, like, we not trash. Like, we lit. Like, wait, hold up. Like, is there any of those moments for y'all in the journey? Because, you know, Alex encouraging you to, like, not grow weary and well doing. Like, keep going. Like,
SaVon, what is
keep going. Like,
I want to know.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest.
Be honest.
I'm going to be a foul. I'm going to keep it down with y'all niggas. When I seen Kim Kardashian retweeted me on her page.
Straight up.
My phone crashed. I was trending in the world. Just because she mentioned us on our podcast, I said, oh yeah, we got something. Oh yeah, we got something. Because not only that, we had came off a wild streak of just, it was just like coincidence after coincidence. It was, we would get mentioned by this person. And then we had hung out with actually Neo the week before.
I was hating. You was hating on me for Push, I was hating on you for meeting Neo.
It was just like back to back to back.
Oh yeah, battle rap Wyclef.
Yeah, we went to an event with Wyclef
around the same time.
It was a whole bunch of people in the office, but Wyclef gravitated towards us. And then specifically Alex. Him and Alex, he's rapping face to face with Wyclef, like on the stage. Like, it was crazy, and these things just kept happening. And we would just look at each other like, yo, bro, we really doing this shit. And then for me, once I seen that kind of stamped it like, oh shit. Because she don't got to do anything. First off, that's promotion. If she puts you on her page, if she retweets, comments,
it's like $1 million a post. For
that's promotion.
Stupid. Like,
I can't afford that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have a budget in the need to know media that can say, hey, can we get Kim Kardashian to repost this on her page, on her account? So there was no dollar amount that could have got us in that position, and for her to see that and highlight the content and kind of just put us out there like that. For me, I said, you know what, we really do got something, regardless of my negative thoughts and you know, discouragement and everything. Like, nah, this is something that we did, had nothing to do with who we were working with. It had nothing to do with it was on our own merit, our own banter, our own chemistry. And so for me, that's when I knew, like, I bet let's turn this shit up.
Lock in.
Mine is kind of similar to that, because I feel like when people started to discern me and SaVon from the Joe Budden podcast and respect our own entity
as your own thing
and what we do, I'm gonna be honest with you though, for me, I think honestly I've only been really noticing that for about 1.5 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong, but just to see people separate is very beautiful to me. Because you know what we are part of, but then you also respect what it is that we do here. So yeah, definitely that. And I was killing SaVon in that Kim K clip.
Yeah, he was.
I was killing SaVon hard.
What was the clip? Tell us about the clip for those who may have not seen it.
Oh my God, what was we talking about? We was talking about Kim Kardashian. I know we was having an argument.
I believe it was when she was like going to law school or something, or trying to be a lawyer to help someone's case or free. And you were showing her support. You were like, "That's dope."
Yeah, I think I was killing him. I'm like, "Fuck out of here."
And I was just like, yo, somebody got to do it. Like, goddamn, I'm glad somebody's helping us out. Like, it may not be the person you want, but she has the influence, she has the resources, and if she's gonna help free black people, like, we can't say free black people, then somebody does it, and we knock her, and then you know, Alex kind of countered that. And Alex countered that, and we had like a quick banter. But I think what I said in that moment, she must have resonated with, and
she said, retweet.
I just woke up.
She said, retweet.
And she commented, "Thank you, SaVon," with a white heart.
She commented. It wasn't just she commented, and I was like, wait, damn, like that's dope.
That's fire.
Especially because, you know, these celebrities verified. Some of them only check their verified mentions. That they don't check when the regular people saying anything. So she was just scrolling through one day and happened upon y'all and
caught it.
That's crazy.
Timing.
That was a moment.
Again, timing.
That was a moment.
So the transitions y'all have gone through, I obviously, my first time coming on, shout out to y'all for letting me come promote Stay Busy on there. You know, Steph was there.
Yes.
And obviously last year, y'all transitioned, and now Reggie and Devon are on the podcast. Amazing. Love it. Loved it with Steph. Love it with them. Like, you know, it's been consistent, great content. But talk about that experience of losing part of the trio and just kind of being like, all right, like, what are we going to do now? And then ultimately the decision to bring on Reggie and Devon.
I'll be honest, you know, you never could really plan for those kind of things. Like you don't go into a podcast, you don't go into anything with a group and think at the finish line, you know, that group that you started with is not going to be there, right? So at that time, it was a lot of change happening. Going back to who we worked with and the, you know, ecosystem that we were in. You know, the Rory and Mal breakup was right before that. There was another podcast that we were a part on the network. They had split up too. So it just seemed like the energy was just shifting in our space. But, you know, it sucks because we were all friends. Like, and it's a friendship, and it's still all love. Like, it's no problem, no beef. Everybody has to figure out their own path. But it was difficult. You know, it was difficult because we all put in work as a collective, you know. At that time, Steph, she joined us like episode 3. You know, she joined like episode 3, so she was there from the beginning. And so, you know, when we did decide that we were going to transition and you know, go out different ways, it was difficult. It was tough for me personally.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you too. It was definitely one of my hardest times in life. I got to be honest with you, at least in my adult life, and not just because of the transition, but because of what Nick has been saying all episode. It was timing. Like, I don't think people really understand what it is that me and SaVon was going through on that day-to-day basis. I know I say that a lot on our podcast, but it's because people really don't get it. Like, working for an entity while being an entrepreneur for your entity, while trying to figure out new additions and extractions, while dealing with your mental health, your family, your love life, and extracurriculars and your goals. That was, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed through those months. I put on the smile as I usually do, but, you know, that's just how I do. But definitely one of my most difficult times in general because it was just hard for me to just process everything happening at the same. Rory and Mal was happening at the same time.
Your world was imploding.
Like, people really don't even get.
It was really like your world was imploding.
It was one thing after another.
And they only saw one side of it. When people would see it front facingly, it only looked like the Rory Mal Joe thing. Mind you, we dealing with everything. Along with that, so I'm grateful to God to have gotten through that the correct way with my brother right here. But I ain't gonna lie to y'all, that was a very difficult time for me in terms of my thoughts, my emotion, how I felt on a day-to-day basis. It was extremely difficult on me. I felt like I just wanted everything to just end, and not end in terms of life, in terms of like all of the bad stuff that was occurring back to back to back. It felt like we didn't catch a break, but
we didn't catch a break.
We didn't catch for months.
We didn't catch a break.
For months.
You know, just going back to your question with Reggie and Devon Terrell. As far as like asking them, I think at first we didn't plan, again, we didn't plan. We just kind of was like, hey, who do we have a rapport with? Who can have great conversation, who can add to it? And then it kind of just happened organically, me and Alex, we had conversations like, hey, we could do this just me and you, right?
Yeah.
Armand, shout out to Armand. He was the first guest that we had once we made that transition of, okay, Steph's no longer going to be a part of this. What do? What do me and Alex do? What is our pivot, so to speak? And Armand was the first guest, and me and Alex said, look, we can do this. Like, the numbers were good, the response, the feedback was good, but I think he and I were self-aware and like, although we are very different, we can also be similar, right?
Yeah.
Both come from Long Island, similar background in that, right?
Both males.
Both black males, young black male, you know what I'm saying, in the same space. So for me, the reason that we named it the Need to Know Podcast is because we want to encapsulate everything, right? We want to talk music. We want to talk pop culture. We want to talk about personal relationships. We want to talk about anything. I don't want anybody to feel limited when they come on our podcast. And so just me and Alex, although we have the nuance to talk about all those topics, I felt like adding somebody like a Devon Terrell, who's been an artist, independent artist at that, who's traveled and toured the country, who's had relationship woes, who's been transparent in his art, and then also Reggie, who is a writer, who has her own journey, her own story. Like, I honestly wanted to be a writer before I got into podcasting. So I think taking the four of us, we agreed that it would just make a better dynamic of a show to listen to, people who just have so many different background stories, and that's how Reggie and Devon Terrell came about.
And Devon was already in the midst of working on the studio we're currently recording in while all this is going down. It's crazy how life works.
Timing.
Back to timing. And it just kind of brought itself together.
And so now the show is what was it? 1 million minutes listened last year, 2021.
Yeah.
3 million minutes. People listen to your podcast for 3 million minutes.
How a lot of minutes,
and that's just YouTube.
We
don't have the biggest audience on YouTube as of today.
That's crazy.
But yeah, that was dope.
That's crazy.
How does it feel? Looking back at those early stages and going through those difficulties and being here now, and like the social media content, the TikToks be popping off,
all of it.
Like, how does what's that gratification, that vindication, that word Nick uses a lot? Like, just how does it feel to be where you are now, and like what are you looking to accomplish next?
Very appreciative of it all. This is the longest thing I've ever done in my life.
Like, most consistency?
The most consistent thing I've ever done in my life has been this podcast.
He don't miss episodes, by the way. I miss episodes. I'll be calling out, yo, nigga, you gotta hold it down. Nigga, I got you. He don't miss episodes either.
So great to like it really instilled a lot of discipline in me. And also knowing, when you hear that term, you got to put in your 10,000 hours. No, that shit is real.
Yep.
For real.
That shit is real life. To anybody that is listening to this, you are not going through imposter syndrome. You've only put 2,000 hours. You feel what I'm saying?
Put more hours.
You got to put more hours in, because once you put in those hours is when you actually feel like you're starting to master something or master it. You feel what I'm saying? And that's kind of where it feels like we're headed to. I know a lot of people feel like we're there, but I personally feel like you can always get better. So yeah, it's done a lot for my will as a person. Okay, this is the most consistent thing I've ever done, and just to see everything that's come from it with putting in hard work and consistency, naturally it flutters into your other parts of your life.
How you do anything is how you do everything.
Love that.
Yeah, I feel the same way. So
Love that.
I'm more of, we're yin and yang, right? We have an amazing balance. And I'm the one.
He's like, I don't know about all that.
I'm the one that's calling this nigga like, yo, fam, why the fuck we lose 2 followers? Like, they hate us.
Yo, you notice that
that's
shit.
me.
That shit
like,
eat away.
I'm that guy. I'm that creative with. Nigga, I'm pacing. I make phone calls at 2 a.m. Everybody could get a call, but
Yo,
my
he be group
brain is going.
texting at 5 a.m. Don't nobody else be the group text for him.
That's me. Like, I'm that guy, right? But to what Alex was saying, I think it is consistency. And honestly, I think still to this day, right before we turn on the mics and y'all was setting up, I leaned over to Alex and showed him like, yo, bro, look at the numbers. Like, they growing, bro. Like, we doing it. We getting there. Like, we're executing. Because it still feels unreal when before you even wake up, you got few thousand downloads. Because I remember when we was on SoundCloud primarily, and I would check the numbers, and we would do 50 listens in a month. And on SoundCloud, every time you click on it as the creator, it counts as a play. Right. So if we was doing 50, as much time as I was checking the numbers, we probably was doing about 25. Because I was checking this shit so often.
It was mostly you.
It was probably me. Like, I'm inflating numbers. So, like, I don't ever take that shit for granted. I don't never, not remember those days. And again, we still kind of live in that zone where, we just hit our highest benchmark ever as a podcast in January last month.
So still growing.
So, I told Alex, it feels like somebody just pressed a button in 2022 and said, this is y'all time.
Wow.
Whatever deals is coming, whatever is coming your way that you worked for, I feel it. I just feel it in my soul. I feel it in my body.
Love that.
Last year was the first year that we were able to kind of put our podcast on cruise control. And what I mean by that is it's paying for itself now. Like for so long, me and Alex,
I'm clapping for that.
Out of pocket for years, and we don't take weeks off. Like even if I do miss an episode, I knew my cut had to be sent out. You know what I'm saying? If he had to miss an episode for whatever, he never missed an episode. But whenever, right, we had to make those adjustments. I still knew like my commitment to this process is I can't be there physically, but I owe it to my brother. I owe it to whoever's doing this to still send my cut. So we're approaching a year of our podcast funding itself, not having to really come out of our pockets to fund something that we love, we believe in, it's our dream. Like we live in our dream. And
literally,
just to cap it off, right? I was talking to a friend the other day, and I was like, man, I've been a part of the Joe Budden Podcast. Successful, great. You hear all the numbers, the deals, beautiful, Spotify, billboards, the tours, all this shit, merch, everything, right? I said, damn, Alex, we've been a part of that. And then I looked to my left. I'm like, shit, I know Rory and Maul's not a part of this no more, but I feel like I got to take a little bit of credit for that, too, because we was a part of that, and I see what they're doing. I know they implemented some of the things that I taught and taught their team how to do our process, right? So Screen Man and show notes and all that stuff. It's standard stuff, but I know that, that I was a part of that, and we were a part of that. And then I go to See the Thing Is, who also records in HMD Studio. Shout out to Mandy and Bridget. And I go to that podcast, and I'm like, damn, they doing all right, too. Like, so everybody around us is out here flourishing. Yo, Alex, you up? Nigga, it's coming. It's one of those things where I'm like, all right, you put yourself in a room full of successful people. You're bound to be that, right?
The motivation.
So, that's my approach on it.
What is you guys know?
No, please.
What does, for those who don't know, what is a day-to-day of a podcasting person what does that look like? Even if it's not just podcasting, for y'all specifically, what does your day-to-day look like in a normal day?
All right, so I just joke a lot and always say like my life is one big ass podcast.
Facts.
SaVon could still feel that way because I know he does. He still works in the podcasting, but my weeks are literally I'd say 75% podcasting and work, and then 25% me. Because again, I have to wake up and strategically produce for the Joe Budden Podcast.
Yep.
And mind you, those are all day things.
Yeah.
Real quick, can I feel like a lot of people don't know. Could you kind of explain your role?
Yeah, I feel like
and the importance of your position at the Joe Budden Podcast?
Absolutely.
Because a lot of people just hear Scream Man and they don't really understand what that nuance is. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, right? The transition from Rory and Maul to Ice and Ish, right? Two guys who aren't podcasters, super informative, super smart, intellectual guys, right? But to be a podcaster and a broadcaster and entertaining, it takes a different level of skill, right? And you have to be. It is a skill, and during that whole transition when everything was in flux and we didn't know anything and we didn't even know Ice and Ish like that. They just kind of came in. That Scream Man role was, in my opinion, this is just me. He was spoon feeding content. What you guys were listening to, it was their original thoughts. But if that screen doesn't turn to a new topic, if that screen doesn't guide that ship,
segue.
I don't know what the transition looks like.
I appreciate that, brother, because again, a lot of people don't really get to see the behind the scenes stuff. So kind of what SaVon was saying is, if the guys are talking about a particular topic, 10 times out of 10, I'm pulling something up on it directly in front of them. And so let's say they're talking about an article. The article is all up. I'm scrolling down the page for them. Let's say they're talking about a music video. I'm pulling up the music video. Just something where the guys could couple what they're saying and what they're talking about together, just for for no wrong answers or anything like that.
You're fact checking live,
kind of like a fact check, like a
visual
live,
cues,
visual fact checker.
No, it's not. I can't. I can't. Bro, I'm
He's producing
sorry.
though.
He's producing.
I'm definitely
we
producing.
ain't fact checking. The
Yeah.
fact check
Yes,
is
produ-
yo. I think
He's right.
I think
He's right.
Kim Kardashian is 36 years old. That's a fact check.
Yeah.
Let me verify that age. That's a fact check.
Yeah.
What
I'm more
Alex
like
does
topics.
is
Producing.
I am going to guide this ship.
This conversation.
I am going to give you the information that you need. When
Yeah.
you're lost, you have me.
Thank you, brother.
When y'all don't know what to talk about, you have me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a fact.
Like
That's a fact.
that is what he does, and he would never say it.
I won't.
You know,
me.
like
I'm
he
mad
would
humble.
He's like,
he would
yeah.
never say it.
bro.
Just
But
scroll the screen.
as my guy, yeah, right. Like, no, you ain't just scrolling the screen. Alex
producer.
has
You're a producer.
I'm
60
definitely a
tabs
producer.
open.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I know which each one of them is.
he knows the cadence.
Yeah.
Before they even go to the next topic, Alex is he knows.
Thank
Like
you, brother.
he's a
Appreciate that.
producer. He's not
Definitely
just a
producer.
screen man. He's not just a character.
Thank you.
My guy produces, and I just want to give you your flowers on that
Amazing.
because a lot of people don't know, and we'll never talk about it on our pod because that's
Yeah,
not what we do.
That's not
So
what we do on our
Yeah.
show.
thank y'all for allowing us to
course,
just
I
kind
appreciate
of
that.
speak
talk
to that.
shit, man.
I really appreciate that shit. Because again, too, see, why me and SaVon was so lucky. We were able to be on the side of production of one of the biggest podcasters, period, and then also come out here and do what we do with our talent and our show. So it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. So to answer your question, Nick, it just feels like one big ass podcast every single
Right.
day because it feels like I'm either prepping for one or prepping for the other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
a
I-
beautiful space though.
It is a beautiful space because kind of what SaVon was saying, you kind of get to balance everything out.
But also, what's great I think
Yeah.
about is that like you asked for this.
Yeah.
This is a part of the best case scenario,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
You asked for it, and I think when you really love something, it's not work. Or you really love something, you ready to put the above and beyond effort into it.
Absolutely.
And so you ready gonna have your 60 tabs ready to go because you just love it.
I
You
just
know what I'm
love
saying?
it.
You just
Yeah.
love it. And
You
it's
want to
so-
be prepared.
Exactly.
It's kind of like football. It's like the offensive linemen are arguably the most important position.
Arguably.
If you're not blocking right, the quarterback doesn't have time to step into the pocket. The running back can't find his holes. So you are operating as the offensive lineman, and everyone has to do their 1/11th in order for the team to be successful.
Yep.
Straight up.
Y'all giving me flowers before Valentine's Day.
Take your flowers back, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man.
So I want to get into you both personally a little bit. Alex, man, I remember, and you and I, we've always connected on the music tip from our Kazi days.
Yes, shout to
to
Kazi.
when I've come onto the podcast. And then I just remember you popping up, dropping snippets of beats, on your IG story with the beats program open. Like what was your inspiration to step into production, and from there to now getting placements on projects? Like,
Bro.
what's that journey been like for you?
Bro, thank you for asking me that. It's beautiful. I've always been musically inclined as a kid. So my mom always had me in the choirs and shit. After a certain age, though, you grow out of the choir.
That's corny.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Choir's fire.
Choir, you know what I'm saying? And then when you
Everybody
till it's
singing
not.
choir.
Yeah, and that's the thing, when you singing in the choir, you don't really assume that you can actually sing, or hold a note, or that you actually care about music, because there's so many other people around you that's also carrying this orchestra, this sound. So after that, I never really had a connection to music. But in school, when I was a kid, no matter elementary school, high school, middle school, whatever, people will always come to me in terms of like new music or like, yo, Alex, get on the aux chord. Or like, I was always that guy. Still at this point, never knew how to translate it.
Right.
It's not until the pandemic hit where we all had to sit down and shut the hell up and think about your thoughts and think about your future and think about why you like certain things was the thing that made me think about this. So shout out to my brother Justin Lloyd. He also makes music. I learned how to make beats from him from just going to his studio every single day during the pandemic and just sitting there and absorbing. I learned, it took me probably about 6-7 months to feel comfortable with making my own shit. And as of recent now, I'm getting these placements. And this year, I kind of feel more comfortable sending my shit out because I wanted to really take the time to learn shit.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be a rusher. I didn't want to feel like I was pulling from imposter syndrome and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just really wanted to feel determined, researched, and like I knew what I was doing.
Starting a new ticker on your 10,000 hours. It's
Yeah.
now we're in the producer 10,000.
Right. So I will say the pandemic was what prompted that, bro, because it just made me still. It's like, yo, Alex, we know you love podcasting.
Yep.
I've been a podcaster since fucking what's this shit in high school where we had what's the homeroom?
Homeroom.
This nigga was potting in homeroom.
I was potting in homeroom.
You was the one doing the announcement.
I was him. I was like, yo, what's good? Good morning.
He
Like,
was on the intercom.
yes, that was me. And they would always, again, I wasn't the
funny.
smartest kid, but again, because of my personality and my energy, so this has always been natural to me. But it was like, yo, I need to feed my music hunger. And it was really starting to bother me at that time that I didn't know how to transition over. So making beats really brings peace and inner joy to my soul.
Fire.
Like, I swear to God, bro, like it really fulfills the shit out of me and coercion with this podcast that we do with SaVon. So
I love that.
it's beautiful, bro. Thank you.
Congrats, man. Congrats to you. SaVon, man, you've stepped into a very, very big role recently. I don't know if you want to get into
we
it.
can talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I'm sure it wasn't the easiest choice to step away from one of the biggest podcasts in the world that you helped to build, but you stepped into a place that pretty dope in HBO Max, and you're working directly with podcasts, so it's aligned with the journey you've been on. What's that transition been like? How tough was that decision for you to make? And just talk about the experience a little bit.
Yeah, man. It was tough, definitely tough, because when you're comfortable, it's easy. You know, when you know what your day is gonna look like, when you know what your week is gonna look like, it's easy. You get into a routine, and it's easy to be comfortable. But for a long time, I want to say probably back in college, I always vowed to reinvent myself. I always vowed to every 3-4 years, whatever that case may be. You got to get uncomfortable to grow.
Absolutely.
And
Hand in hand. Growth is uncomfortable.
You just have to, right? So, of course, I was a little nervous. I was a little, hesitant to make that transition because, again, I am a part of something that's impactful to people. I am a part of something that's big. I have a lot of control and creative in what I do at the Joe Budden Podcast. Like, I was that guy. And so it was difficult. But when an opportunity like a HBO comes across your desk, it's like, okay, if you say no to this, then do you really want it? So I had to really sit down with myself and say, like, all right, you talk a mean game. Like, I could talk, man. Like, I could make you want to jump through a wall through inspiration because I just really do believe in that. But then I had to question myself, like, do you believe what you say?
Yeah.
Right? If you don't, because I turned down a lot of opportunities over the years just because I felt like it wasn't the right one. And I always said, I have to exceed what I'm doing now.
You know when you know.
I have to. Like, I can't just go and do something else because it might be a little bit more money.
Right.
I got to do something that I feel will be a little bit more impactful. And I think HBO Max specifically, going into that digital content space, going into podcasting, feeling like I guess a front runner in podcasting, so to speak. Like I put myself in that category, somebody who really pushes the needle in podcasting. So, when HBO came, I actually applied for like a digital marketing position, right? Because I ran social media. I'm a social media marketer too. So I applied for that position, and they came back to me with a counter offer like, hey, we want you to manage some podcasts. Like, we see your resume. We think you would probably fit a little better over here on this team.
God said bigger, my son.
Yeah.
That's exactly bigger, my son.
It was one of those.
Yes.
And I was just like, look, you gotta, walk it. You talk it, let's walk it. So, I talked to Alex, right? And, just to kind of give y'all a little bit of backstory. So, I talked to Alex a year ago, before any HBO, before anything came into the picture, before we transitioned with a new podcast, anything.
Yeah.
We sat on the corner on a street in Queens, and I looked at him and I said, bro, I'm changing my life.
He said,
I said, I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know where, but I want you to know, as my guy, as my brother, as my business partner, as my friend, I know we're in this position together right now. We're in the trenches together, but I have to make a transition. And I gave him a timeline. I said, by the end of the year, in March, I said, by the end of the year, I want to be in a different place. And I had no idea where that place was going to be. So I warned him just based off of my thinking.
Yeah.
So when that time did come, he couldn't be like, damn, bro, you just left. Or damn, you ain't give me a heads up. Like, damn, my nigga, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea. But just the fact that those thoughts seeped into my psyche, I said, I got to let him know. Because I don't want him to feel like I just up and abandoned him. So when that time did come, I was comfortable with letting him know. I was comfortable with letting my family know. And, it's HBO, man. It's one of the greatest powerhouses in media today.
Absolutely.
And the fact that they allow a young black man into those meetings and I'm talking to people from CNN and Apple and iHeart and you know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, cool. If we want to be the best, if we gonna be the best, we know we mastered this independent shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We mastered this independent shit. Now let's go talk to these corporate
and know how to do that.
And now let me figure out how corporate America works on the highest level.
Exactly.
And so that was really what that transition was for me. It was like, you know, I'm comfortable in what we built on the independent side, but if I want us to really be a player, you know, and if I want to look at and get the respect of the Joe Buddens, the Charlemagnes, and, you know, all these people who I looked up to over the years, I want to be on the same playing field. Like, I don't want to be Lil Bro forever.
Bigger,
I
my
can't,
son.
you know,
Bigger.
I'm not here to be Lil Bro forever.
Bigger.
And HBO, like, what can you say? You like, it solidifies me. It gives me a little bit of credibility that, you know, somebody who may not be familiar with Joe Budden of music and entertainment doesn't. I could go on the street right now and say 3 letters, HBO.
Yeah.
And they gonna know. You know, like, that's all it is. So for me, it was just about experience, and, you know, I love what I'm doing. I'm still working in the podcast department, managing podcasts. I know you're a big wrestling guy, the Peacemaker, with John Cena. I got a chance to sit in on that recording. So I'm in Zoom and my drawers looking at John Cena. Oh, shit, what the fuck?
What a combo.
You know, like.
One could say he couldn't see you.
Yeah, exactly. So
That's funny as hell.
You know I had to get one off.
No, that's funny as hell. No, that's bad funny.
Do y'all know? Every
I
time,
had to get one off.
freaking time.
So yeah, man, it puts me in a whole different space, but a whole different type of people. Like I love meeting the Nicki Minaj's and the Mike Tysons, but now we going into this acting world, this Hollywood world, and it's different people, it's different processes.
Bigger,
my son.
Yeah, yeah. So we moving, man.
Yeah, man.
Congrats,
That's
man.
love.
Thank
Congrats
you.
to I'm
Thank you.
genuinely proud.
I appreciate that.
To close off, you know, I know Need to Know podcast evolved into Need to Know Media. Yeah. And we had some conversations. We had a big interview lined up that unfortunately fell through, but we gonna make it happen.
Absolutely.
We gonna make it happen. But what are some, now that you Need to Know Media, like that's far more encompassing than just a podcast. So what are the ideas that you have for expansion? What are some things that you're trying to put into play, and what's next?
Honestly, just wanna put out fun content. Like I'm big fans of those YouTube black houses that it's a house of comedians, actors, and they're just able to put out beautiful types of styles of content, right? So we already did the Need to Know podcast, and we're gonna keep doing it. Now let's just encompass any other thing that we would like to pair it with, whether that be some skits, whether that be some different types of man on the street interviews. Again, I'm just speaking from my side of it. I know SaVon about to go crazy, but you know, just trying to add more, because when you change words, they mean something, right? When you see a podcast, it seems more niche sometimes, right?
Narrow, yeah.
Right, it's pretty narrow. When you see media, ooh, it's expounded now. People don't just think to maybe do one thing. Let's just try other things and just use the fan base that's here that loves to see stuff from us. So that's kind of my version of it, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, transitioning and going to HBO is a part of that media play, right? Had we not started the media company, I may not have been so forthcoming in going to HBO, right? That is a media company, HBO, Warner Media. You know, like, if I'm going to learn, why not learn in the fucking actual game? Like, let's play the game. Man. So, you know, I want to work with other podcasts. Like, I have a lot of other interests outside of just what we talk about. Yeah. And, you know, we are real keen on keeping on the topics that we discuss, just to respect everybody's interests. Like, I'm sure Reggie doesn't want to talk about fucking Russell Westbrook being ass right now. She don't want to talk about, like, she doesn't know. That's not her interest, right? Like, so there's sport topics, sport conversation, wrestling. There is a niche market for that. Video games in my spare time. I like to play video games and decompress. And so with streaming, with Twitch, with everything, I feel like it's open right now. You know, I tell people the podcast space is in the gold rush. Where nobody knows how to fucking monetize this shit. It's untamed right now. Everybody's just trying shit. When you see Joe Rogan get a deal, they're just trying shit. They don't know nothing. And they're figuring that out in real time when people are trying to cancel him and take back the money that they invested. Like nobody has this shit figured out. It's too brand new. It's too open. Like so for me, I just want to experience and have fun, experiment with the process of what that is. Working with other creators that I believe in. Like I love what y'all are doing. I love how y'all have a focused topic. Y'all talk music. Y'all do what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are structured. I love what y'all are doing. I know you got 2 podcasts. Even writers. Like I want to start just a blog. Like yo, let's get some writers and just chop it up, bro. Like as young black creators, and not just black creators, but you know entrepreneurs and businessmen, and you know being that we're still young. Like we all have health. You know I'm grateful to be healthy. I'm grateful to come in here and talk and you know do these things. So for me, I think the media company is just saying, look, I want to give the opportunities that I was given. Right, I'm in a position now where we can say we have a media company. Like we can look at each other and say, yo, we have, you know, accounts together. And, you know, it's just a beautiful thing. So I just kind of want to pay it forward. I think for me, this media company is just paying that forward. Like I know what our podcast is. Like if that's the flagship podcast of the media network, like you never know. We could start working with another podcast and that podcast take off. And now that's the flagship. Absolutely. But it's just a part of the family. It needs to know media. And that's the beautiful thing. Like you don't really get those opportunities in podcasting of support. Everybody looks at it like it's a competition, but it's like, nah, man, like if y'all are dope and the masses and the numbers say y'all are dope, and it doesn't mean I'm not dope, it just means y'all are clicking on a different way, and my time is gonna come, and my influence and my impact is gonna come however it's gonna come, like come what may. So for me, I just want to give people those opportunities, because I remember when he and I was shopping our podcast ago, like years ago. And I remember trying to get a job at Hot 97 and Power 105 and all these other places that kind of just was like, nah, it ain't it. Like we don't need you, we don't want you, we don't believe in it, whatever the case may be. I remember that feeling, and for me, you know, I want to work with people and let them know and empower people. Like that's what this media shit is. Like it should say need to know empowerment, because that word media is not just media. It's like need to know empowerment. Like I want other creatives to feel, you know, the same way that I felt when, you know, fucking Kim Kardashian looked at us and said, "Oh shit, they're dope." Like I just want to be a part of that. Like it's all about assist for me. You know, when I play the video games, my brother could tell you, I need somebody who could pass the ball. Straight up. If you got 65 passing, get off my team, dog. I need somebody who's gonna be able to pass the rock, because I'm about that assist. I want to, you know, pay that shit forward. And I think we're in a perfect position to do that. Like it's a perfect time to do that. I agree. And you know, I know Alex, he got my support. I got his support. If he said, "Yo, I want to build a music studio in the middle of this podcast studio right now," I'm gonna tell him, "Let's do it, nigga. We gonna figure it out. Pass me the hand. We gonna figure it out. What you need, bet."
Shout out to Home Depot.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just kind of how I'm on. So I think that's kind of what's next. Just empowering other creatives. You know, we got a rebrand launch coming next month. We got new key art. We got new graphics. We going crazy. And I think that'll be the first step for us saying, hey, we want to kind of work with other people, because this is the standard that we're setting. And now let's bring it all in under the same umbrella.
I love it. I love it. Well, brothers, again, congrats to y'all. I'm so thankful.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thanks.
Amazing.
So thankful for the friendship, the brotherhood, the support. God. Genuinely love you too.
Love you, brother. Thank you.
Y'all.
Thank you.
And yeah, this is what you need to know when you need to know.
Let's do
it. Listeners, we hope y'all got something out of this. For entrepreneurs, for creators, for just people in general. There's so much to gain from this conversation. I know I got a lot out of it. And I know these guys well already, but I feel like I just got a whole whole new layer has been peeled back. So this is Stay Busy with Armand Sather. Make sure that you tell a friend to tell a friend. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out all of our content. For the boy, founder of Bald Nigga Ballers, Armand Sather. For the Kombucha King that makes your heart sing, Nick Early. For my VP of Marketing of Bald Nigga Ballers, SaVon. And for the best beard in the media game, Alex, we want y'all to stay safe, stay humble, stay busy.
Baby girl, how you feeling? I've been out in the world, staying busy, taking time, getting right if you miss me. I've been out in the world, staying busy.
Mondays 9 a.m. Party with the gang. Every week, tell a friend. Busy over everything. Gotta call now, ain't you heard? Got the vibes, they put you on. Got the slides, I'm the size. When in doubt, no, he hold it down.
girl, baby girl, how you feeling? I've been out in the world staying busy, taking time getting right if you miss me. I've been out in the world staying busy.